I'm Diana DeRosa, and I'm speaking to Emma Massingale, who lives in Devon, England. And I love the fact that I'm speaking to another person. I've spoken to a lot of people in different countries, so England is another one on the list. And she is the director of the equestrian documentary, The Highlands Wilderness Adventure, Unbroken Horses, and the equestrian commercial, Stand Up and Deliver Santa. Well done, Emma. Oh my gosh, the two very different things, but wonderful and enjoyable films. So let's start with your, island adventure with your Unbroken Horses. What inspired you to do that film?
Well, after doing the Island project in 2015, I kind of needed it to go on to something else. I had bitten the bug of adventure, and obviously my passion is very much for training horses and making adventure films as well. So combining the two was definitely something I really wanted to do. And the Island project also left me with loads of questions that I needed to find answers for. And I guess the interest was in traveling along with horses on a bit of a journey. And especially with untrained horses, as to how I could keep the relationship going and build this relationship with these horses that I didn't know, and hopefully end up the other side of Scotland, being able to ride them at liberty and do things like that. So it was a massive challenge. And then to add to it, also I was filming myself, which anyone who does films, makes films, videos, it's hard, every shot, is sort of takes about half an hour, and it's not always the easiest, especially when you've got these sort of untrained horses with you as well, because they're not always the most patient and the most forgiving when you need to dash back and get my camera and go again. So, but I love it, and it was great fun, and yeah, combines my two loves of nature and young horses. So I had an amazing time.
Well, I'm sure you did have an amazing time and many interesting stories, but when you think back, what are some of the things that you remember either fondly or not so fondly in that whole scenario?
Well, it was definitely, I think, the type 2 fun, as it's described, type 1 fun being the type of fun you have during, and then type 2 being the fun that it's after the event. So, Scotland is absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places here in the United Kingdom. And it's just vast, the size of it and everything is huge. So, for us in the UK, we're not used to sort of big wildernesses like you guys have in the States. And so for me, it was just being able to have the horses loose and at liberty, but in not just a small area, in this sort of whole vast area. And one of the highlights definitely was when the ponies chose to stay with me at night. So it got to the point where I could just put up my little, I had a bivvy bag, which is like a posh bin liner you sleep in basically, and a basher, which is a tarp thing that goes over the top of you. And the ponies would just lay down next to me and go to sleep as well. And we kind of really became a team. And that was such a special moment that I definitely will cherish forever. On the flip side of that, of course, there's some negatives, and it has to be the bugs. Oh my gosh, Scotland is heaving with midges. And I'm quite a tough person. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. Only little bugs. But oh my God, about 2 days in and I got a face like a pizza, and you're trying to video, and I'm not massively vain, but oh my gosh, I was thinking this is a nightmare. No, mate, And then when you're lying in this sort of bivvy bag, and you're lying there like this, you pull it up to here, and the wind and rain is howling, and you think, oh, well, it's okay. And then there's like ticks crawling up, trying to get inside as well. And so every day you're picking ticks off yourself as well. So it's not all glamorous. So yeah, but it's good fun when you think back on it.
So one of the things I'm curious about is, how did you decide on which ponies you were going to bring?
Well, to be honest, budget slightly dictated, the ponies, and I didn't know them at all. I hadn't had a lot of time leading up to it. So I just flew to Scotland a few weeks before, and I was already filming up in the Shetland Islands for the BBC. And so I left the ponies in Scotland. I just saw them for a couple of hours in an afternoon. I went, yeah, they'll be great. and then I picked them up the day before we set off. So I didn't know them at all. I literally had no idea. I didn't know anything about them. The gentleman that had bred them he just hadn't had their feet done or anything like that. So they were just, but they weren't wild, like they hadn't been running on the hills or anything, but they weren't handled either. So they were just nice, fresh youngsters.
Wow, I'm glad that I asked that question, because I really was curious to know, if you did some selecting or if it was something off the cuff. And so that's great to know that. So if people want to know more about your story, your many films, and you, how do they do that? And do you have any last words you'd like to say before we sign off?
Well, I guess it's just that I suppose the two things I love most are making people laugh. So my commercial is about making people smile. So I do quite a few of those sort of funny videos, and I love promoting how clever these horses and ponies are that we all share our lives with and that we love so much. So my sort of commercial side of it and making funny videos is one section, and then the rest of it is wilderness and adventure. So either on YouTube, it's just my name, Emma Massingale, or Facebook, Instagram, things like that. Anywhere there you can sort of find me.
Actually, I'm going to ask you one more question, because I did mention the whole stand and deliver Santa. So let's take a moment and just tell about that. I mean, that girl was adorable. It was your niece. And what inspired you to pull that all together?
Well, they do say you don't ever work with children and horses. And I thought, no, we're going to do both. Let's do it. So Lexi Massingale is my 3-year-old niece, and she's not got a lot of horse experience. So we did throw her in at the deep end. And my brother's not horsey at all, but she's the most adorable little girl and very brave and has got a great sense of humor. So she took it all very seriously. And yeah, it was great fun to film, and the ponies are so kind and clever that it just all came together. And we didn't have very long to make the video, and each year I try and make 2 or 3 sort of commercials at Christmas time, just to kind of make everybody smile, I hope. And I really enjoyed doing that one with little Lexi. It was a special time.
It's a quick watch and great. I mean, it sort of brightens your day, so everybody should make sure that they share that film. That was a great one. So thank you, Emma, for joining me tonight, and congratulations for being a part of the EQUUS Film and Arts Fest this year.
Thank you so much for having me.